All right, hear me out. I sound younger than I must have an opinion for. Well, I heard a lot of good things about this book, and every site and video I've checked, like what's the best canon Star Wars novel to read out there. As of late 2020, Lost Stars remains at number one. Number two, of course, being Thrawn from March of 2017. I have not read Thrawn, but I've heard very good things about it. Lost Stars, I spent a weekend to read back in around April when the coronavirus pandemic really started its peak. So I read it, and it started off really good, and it just got just really expected. Like it's a good shaved down Star Wars story. It shows sides of the universe where like a defected side, like the destruction of Alderaan. Like there are Imperials cadets where that sought to be their home world, and they just killed their parents and everything they had to live through after their term was over when they became a full stormtrooper. Yeah, a lot of cadets. It shows some cadets that their family was killed on Alderaan and they defected. Some their family was killed on Alderaan, but they chose to stay loyal. Thane and Sienna are the two main protagonists, and I believe one of their friends is from Alderaan, and he was killed. No, Alderaan and his parents and all his background was killed, and then he started to defect. This is when Thane started to doubt the Empire, so eventually he defects. Spoiler alert. Sienna stays loyal to the Empire. She fights in the Battle of Jakku. A lot of people find this weird, but why is a 24-year-old commanding a Star Destroyer? Just for the sake of plot. It makes no sense to me, in my opinion. Lost Stars is overrated. Maybe, but people praising it, yes, that is overrated. It's a good read. It's a good thing to get excited about. It does tie into the events of A New Hope, kind of a little bit forcingly, but it's still alright. Sienna was bored of the Devastator that took on the Tantive E4 at the beginning of A New Hope. She's so open to be aborted. It's like every scene we see where it says "Hold your fire," Sienna is just in the background of that. You just don't see her. She's in the scene, but just pan out and oh, there she is, type of thing. It's just this so happens to be irony, just tying it in, fan service, whatever you want to call it. How would I compare this novel to the Thrawn trilogy? Thrawn trilogy altogether is better. Let's say if Thrawn by itself is better than each book, Thrawn is better than Heir to the Empire, Thrawn is better than Last Command, Thrawn is better than Dark Force Rising, I've heard all that. But combine the trilogy together, the trilogy combined outweighs the Thrawn novel as itself. Even though it's better than each book, I probably will beg to differ because Heir to the Empire is my favorite Star Wars novel right now. I had so much fun reading that. I could practically force myself to just plow right through that book. It was totally worth it. Heir to the Empire, the image will be on screen. Check it out if you haven't. The newer novel cover is on the screen right now as well. That's the paperback you can pick up right now. That's the one I own. That's how I read it. It's a really good book. It's long, but it goes through fast. It reads really fast. Also listen to the audiobook. Thrawn Trilogy, the only way to read it nowadays is to listen to the audiobook and read it at the same time. You can get it done in the weekend. It's like 15 hours altogether, but chop that up into like 2 full days. You'll get it done in no time. 2 half days, like 6 hours here, 7 hours there, it'll be done. I'm getting a little off topic, but yeah, Lost Stars expands into a little bit of Legends territory of people that defect after the destruction of Alderaan. How are there squadrons that see like the true colors of the Empire? They're like, oh heck no, I'm gone. This is not what I signed up for. There are no Imperials on Alderaan, as we know. There might have been dignitary loyalists, like what the Clone Wars saw. Like, not all separatists are bad. Kind of like Republicans and Democrats, like, oh, I believe this, oh, I believe that, type of thing. There might have been some Imperial loyalists that didn't know the true nature of the Empire that died on Alderaan. I can bet that. But Alderaan is one solid belief climate, which meaning like all of them are royalists. But come on, it's an entire planet. For all we know, Earth is the only habitable human planet in the universe altogether. Like, there can't just be like one entire planet. It's like It's not like there's going to be somebody that just isn't loyal. There has to be. It just makes no sense. You can't just rid an entire planet. I mean, it makes sense with the giant starships outweighing the size, but it doesn't really matter when you get into plot holes. You'll just end up in a corner. It's not worth it. You just have to let it flow, let it do whatever it does. Yes, Lost Stars is slightly overrated. It depends how you look at it. It's a great read. It's a great shaved down book, kind of like what A New Hope is as a solid standalone movie. One of my favorite Legends novels is The Truce of Bakura. Ignore that dumb cover art with a handshake. That has nothing to do with the book whatsoever. It takes place right after Return of the Jedi. It cannot be canon because it was retconned by Shattered Empire in 2015. Completely retconned. Because Shattered Empire goes right into the like, okay, we're back at war. You camp there, you camp there. We'll fight off the remaining Imperials that camped out overnight. Shattered Empire is like, okay, let's pack up, let's go, type of thing. Yeah. Anyway, if you like what you see, comment down below. Of course, subscribe if you're new to the channel. For my like 2 viewers, of course. But of course, if you're new, subscribe. Comment down below what you would like to see next. And as always,